All right, everybody, I'm here with Ryan Blaney. And Ryan, the first question is, how often do you have dreams about racing?
That depends. I dream about races that never happen sometimes that you don't really understand what's going on. I've dreamt about bad races before, kind of reliving wrecks or something. I guess you could call those nightmares. So yeah, those are really the only two times I've, dreamt about racing. If it's just a random occurrence of something that's never happened before and I can't really make any sense of it, or the wrecks. There's a few bad ones that you sometimes dream about, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you get into someone during a race, whether it's intentional or not, does it matter if you apologize?
I think it does. Yeah, I definitely think it does. Especially if it was unintentional. I think you should apologize for sure if it was your fault, and you hope that other person understands. Now, if it was intentional, I don't think you go apologize. You did it intentionally. You're not going to go be sorry for it. So if it's an accident and I screw up and I get loose under somebody and spin them out, or we'll spin out, I'm going to say, I'm going to try to find them as soon as I can, or call them and say that was, obviously my fault. But, different answers for intentional or unintentional stuff.
Okay, fair enough. What is the biggest compliment someone could give you?
Something that's really, really cool to me is when parents tell me that their kids look up to me. That's a super cool compliment. Because then they get talking about, how their kids are huge fans of me and they love racing. They want to be just like you on and off the track. I'm like, man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I met you guys before, but this kid wants to be like me, and he doesn't really even know me. He just knows me around the racetrack and from racing and the social stuff that's out there. That's really, really cool and makes me feel good, because that's part of the reason why we do it. You want to be as good of a role model as you can. And I remember I was a kid who loved racing and was running around the garage and wanted to be like this driver or that driver just because I liked what they did. So to kind of have the roles now, me being in that spot, that makes me feel really good when parents tell me that, or kids come up to me and are wearing my shirt and are super happy to see me, because that just shows that they're big fans, and they look up to me, which it's like a big brother moment, I guess. But
Yeah.
I think that's the best compliment I can be paid.
That's really, really cool. Okay, so NASCAR comes to you and they're like, Ryan, we're bringing this huge celebrity to the track. We'd love for you to host them, bring them around a little bit. Who's the celebrity you'd be really excited to host?
I'll do a male and female version.
Okay.
I'm a big Ryan Reynolds fan.
Uh-huh.
I think he's an awesome actor, and I'd love to have him. Did you say who would we? What's the person, or what would we do?
Who would you like to
okay.
be able to take around? Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds,
Uh-huh.
the guy, and the girl. Man, that's tough. I have a lot of celebrity crushes. I'm a big Daisy Ridley fan. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, well, you
She's
met her
a
at the.
Ray. Yeah.
She didn't know who you were at the Lakers
she had
game,
no
right?
idea.
But
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that can be a second meeting. She probably doesn't remember the Lakers thing, but I always will. But yeah, those would be my two. Yeah.
Yeah, just next time be like, and by the way, I'm a NASCAR driver. Just come on out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invite her out. Yeah.
Right. In an effort to show this is a health-conscious sport, NASCAR decides to offer the #1 pit stall selection for an upcoming race to the first driver willing to go vegan for 1 month. Would you do it?
Is it's only one race that
One
we
race.
get the first pit stall?
Yep.
Oh, 1 month of vegan. I don't know. That's a hard one, actually. That's a good one. My sister's vegan, and
Really?
I don't know how she does it. And
Which one?
the little one, Erin.
Uh-huh.
And she's in college, and being in college and being a vegan, that's tough.
Yeah.
And and I've seen what she has to eat, and it's not pleasant. But I don't know. I feel like I can only do the vegan thing for like 2 weeks. I like meat too much, and eat way too much of that stuff. So I don't know if I could do the vegan thing. Not that I would try, but I just don't think I would succeed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, now it's time for the random race challenge. So I've picked a random race from your career, and you have to tell me where you finished in this race.
Okay.
So try to make this somewhat hard. I don't know if this is hard enough or too hard or easy. I don't know. This is the Kentucky truck race from 2014. Do you remember this race at all?
Yes, I do. I ran third. Kyle won the race, and Bubba ran second.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
That
right
took
there.
a second for me to think about, but yeah, I remember that race. Yeah.
That's
we
amazing.
had a shot to win, and the last restart didn't work out. But yeah, I remember that. I used to love that. Was the old Kentucky.
Are you good at remembering race in general? Or does that one just happen to stick out? Or?
I'm pretty good at remembering races when people bring up like what race it was, what year. I can usually remember that. But if I'm standing here, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, this race in 2015, so and so. But if you bring up a race, I can usually think back and remember it.
Wow.
But I don't just think about races all the time.
Yeah.
But when it gets brought up in discussion, I can usually think back on it.
Wow.
So
that was impressive right there.
Thanks.
Who is the best rapper alive?
I don't really listen to rap music. I don't know. I mean, I think Eminem's a good rapper. I guess there's only a few rappers I listen to. But like, Eminem, Notorious Big, Tupac fan as a kid. Listen to Tupac. Kendrick Lamar is really good.
Yeah.
I saw J. Cole in concert a couple years back when he came out with that album, and he was really, really good. Post Malone's good. I saw him in concert in Charlotte like a month ago, and I got to hang out with him for a little bit. Super nice guy, and likes all kind of music.
You thought about getting the Post Malone eye
The
tattoos
tattoo?
under your eyes?
That might be an off-season thing.
Yeah.
For me, and then laser them off. But I think I don't really have a favorite one, but like that group is what I've listened to the most, I guess.
Okay. Who has the most punchable face in NASCAR?
That's an interesting one because I've seen you ask that question before, and I've had like, who would I punch? Or who? It's not really even who would you punch. It's just who has the most punchable face.
Yeah.
It's almost like calling someone ugly. I don't know. I don't know. There's certain people that sometimes I look at them after a race and I'm like, God, I want to kick your ass. And it's really nothing against them. It's just how they race me and if they fence me or something. But punchable face, there's one I could say, but I don't know if I should say it. Like, I don't know. I have a lot of people said like Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he and Brad kind of get the most
Okay.
of the answers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess those guys have just punchable faces. I don't really know what a punchable face is, but I could say those two would be a top. I'm just going to go with what everyone else says.
Yeah. Okay. Go with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So NASCAR enlists 3 famous Americans to be involved with your team for one race as part of a big publicity push they're doing. They're going to bring Taylor Swift, LeBron, and Tom Hanks to the track. You have to pick one to be your spotter, one to be your crew chief, and one to be your motorhome driver. So who do you pick between Taylor, LeBron, and Tom Hanks?
Crew chief, spotter, and driver, motorhome driver. I think Tom Hanks is. Man, that's tough. I would like to hear Tom Hanks' voice on the radio all the time, so I would do the spotter thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron should be the crew chief because of his work ethic, and Taylor can be the bus driver because who won't want to be in a bus with Taylor Swift?
What is the key to finding the best pre-race bathroom?
Yeah. So I think there's multiple people involved in this. There's myself. So when we're walking out to intros and you kind of figure out where your car is staged, look around for some porta-johns.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, my PR guy, is good at looking for some bathrooms, and then my interior guy is always really good. So it's a group effort. Like if neither of us see one walking out, I'll ask Kyle, my interior guy, and he'll usually have a good spot for me to go.
Is that because he doesn't want to have to clean up if you can't find the bathroom?
Yeah, well, I'll never do that to him.
Oh, okay.
I'll rupture inside before I do that to him.
Okay.
But no, he's always just on the lookout because all those guys are on the grid for a while, so they have to scout out all the bathrooms and So I think it's a group effort, teamwork.
Okay.
Teamwork and everything nowadays.
Absolutely. NASCAR decides it misses the highlight reel value brought by the Carl Edwards backflips, and they want a replacement. How much would they have to pay you to backflip off your car after your next win?
Not much. I just have to practice it. If I'm going out there, green, I don't know if I could do it. I mean, that's hard. It's hard enough to do a backflip on a trampoline. I can do plenty of stuff on trampolines, but off a car, that's tough. If I could get like 5 shots at it, like off a car door into like a foam pit first, then I'd do it for nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the good of the sport.
Yeah, for good of the sport. That's what we're in this for.
Okay. So each week I ask a driver to give me a question for the next interview. I just did a double interview with McDowell and David Reagan, and their joint combined question for you is, why don't you ever go sprint car racing? McDowell thinks he knows the answer, so he wants to see if he's right.
Okay. Yeah, well, really the reason why I didn't grow up sprint car racing, number one, was I grew up in North Carolina. And by the time I was old enough to drive, my dad was already racing NASCAR. And there's just really no dirt tracks around. It's asphalt late model stuff. And, legend cars and quarter midgets. But that was kind of the main deal in North Carolina and where we were. But why I don't do it now is I'm really not allowed. It's not encouraged for me to go do it. I'll tell you a story of, it was 2012. I just signed with Penske, and we were at the Texas, then it was nationwide race. And I was doing that one in 22 car, and my dad in 11, 12, 13 was building his own sprint cars and going to testing them and racing them.
Okay.
So I'd help him build them a little bit, and I'd go run some laps in them to go test them. And one night I was testing them the week before Texas, and I actually just found out more about this story like a couple weeks ago. It actually connected some dots. But we got done with practice at Texas, and Tim Cindric, the president of Penske, comes in, and we're talking about the car. I'm like, yeah, I'm just starting at Penske. And he's like, walks out and he turns around. And he's like, oh, by the way, no more driving sprint cars.
Oh.
I was like, oh, man, okay. I was like, how did he know that I was testing sprint cars? That's baffling to me. And so I was telling my dad this story like weeks ago. And he was like, yeah, because you scared the shit out of me driving this sprint car, and I thought you were going to wreck, and I told him to tell you that you can't drive sprint cars anymore. Like, man, you threw me under the bus. I can't believe him. Yeah,
Wow.
I found that out. So much for trust and Dad. But, yeah, that's really why I don't do it. I'm just not really – I'd love to do it. It's what my dad does full-time right now. It's what my family grew up on pretty much, and I love going to the races and learning about those cars, and absolutely love that side of racing. But it's just not something that I can go do really right now. Maybe when I'm done with this deal, I'd like to go do it just because it was a family thing, but not right now.
So Tim Cindric had to do your dad's dirty work, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
Dad just should have come to me and told me, but no, he didn't want to be that guy. He wanted to use a middleman to tell me that.
Yeah.
Using Tim Cindric as a middleman, that's pretty rough. But
Wow.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't know who the next interview is going to be with. So you can either give me a general question for the next driver, or I can try to double back with you when I know who it's going to be specifically.
Yeah. Just get back with me whenever you know. I want to ask a hard-hitting question.
Okay,
So,
sounds good. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.